On May 22nd, a fire ignited in Topaz Ranch Estates, a community south of Gardnerville, Nevada. Below-average moisture this winter has left vegetation in western Nevada significantly drier for this time of year, and driven by strong winds blowing that day, the fire burned rapidly through this area toward the homes of neighbors Estelle Whalen and Raymond Glass. Estelle credits the survival of her home and minimal damage to her property to the defensible space work she and her husband completed before the fire started.
My name is Estelle Whalen and I live in Topaz Ranch Estates. On May 22nd we had a fire in Topaz Ranch Estates. I work in town, which is about 18 miles away from here, and I was notified by a friend that there was a fire out here. I didn't know exactly where the fire was, so I had him send me some more information about the fire and found out that it was a block away. As soon as I could, I came out here to see if our house was okay. The authorities wouldn't let me closer than 2 blocks, so all I could do was stand and look as plumes of smoke came up from where I estimated our property was. When I was allowed on the property, they were still mopping up the fire, but you could see that the southern acre below our house was totally burned. That consisted of pinyon pines, sagebrush, and weeds. We had scraped our property and thinned out cheatgrass and sagebrush and made space between pinyon pines the year before. And you could totally see the efforts that we did at that time saved our home. Our house had approximately an acre around it, which had been scraped clean and thinned out of sagebrush and cheatgrass. All of that was just like we left it. The land that wasn't was burned, and we also started trimming up our trees. This has been an ongoing process, but we've got a lot of trees, so we've only been able to do the ones around the house, and those we took up. Depending on the size of the tree and the height of the tree, we only took up tree limbs so there was enough space between the lowest branch and the ground, but so no branches would touch the ground. We also had juniper bushes which were planted right in front of our house, and over the years had become enormous. That was quite the project, but we took those out 2 years ago. And that also eliminated a fire risk because there was no flammable fuels right close to the house. Our friends and neighbors also have helped by creating defensible space around their homes. That it makes me feel better knowing that there's not a ton of sagebrush right close to our property anymore. Actually, our house sits on a corner lot, so we have streets on 2 sides, which I think helped. You could see what wasn't cleared along the road burned, and what was cleared or scraped off did not burn. The future plans for our property will probably involve continuing with the scraping of the land that has already been thinned out. We will continue trimming up the trees that did not get burned by the fire, and be vigilant what kind of plants that we put in that they're not a flammable type of plant. It had extensive smoke damage from the fire. We lost a camper shell to our truck, and we also lost our trampoline from flying embers. All of these items were within feet of our house, so I'm extremely thankful that our house didn't burn.
My neighbor across the street, she called my wife and said there was a fire, so we both ran out and we looked west, and there was nothing but smoke, and it looked like it was obviously coming this way. And so I ran and got my hose, and I only have 100 foot of hose. And I ran out up in this area, brought the hose out, and I started watering the trees because I thought for sure her house over there was going up and all these pinyon pines were going to catch on fire. And I was worried about it jumping over canyon and catching everything on fire. So.
And it looks like you've done some defensible space work out here. You've limbed up your trees and kept the area pretty clear of cheatgrass and such.
Yes, the front, I've always, we've been here about 14 years. In the front, I did that about 13 years ago. And then I've always kept along the periphery of canyon, the street, I've kept it cleaned off. And
any future plans for defensible space? You're gonna?
Well, I talked to my wife. I'm going to go further south on my property and take some sagebrush and grass out, and also trim some trees. I've done that all on the northern section. I'd say about. I have 2 acres, so I'd say about 1.5 acres I've done, and I have about another ½ acre to do, and I think I'm going to do that. Because if my neighbor in the back of me, if that area ever catches fire, then it's going to spread over in my property, obviously.